The candidates will then be asked a series of questions, some of which were submitted by YouTube and by TV viewers and radio listeners here in the state of Nevada. Each candidate will be given 1 minute to respond to the question, followed by the first candidate giving a 30-second rebuttal. The program concludes with 1 minute closing statements from each candidate. It was determined by a flip of a Nevada quarter that the first opening statement will be offered by Senator Harry Reid. Senator Reid.
Mitch, thank you, and thanks to the Nevada broadcasters for arranging this. Growing up in Searchlight, I had some interesting times. My dad was a big man, much bigger than I am. Broad shoulders, weightlifter arms, even though he never lifted any weights. The times were tough. The mines weren't doing well at all. When he worked, sometimes he didn't get paid, checks bounced. My mom took in wash from the brothels on Searchlight. So I have some idea what it's like to struggle. We were the top of the economic food chain in Nevada for 20 years. When Wall Street collapsed, we fell really hard. There's a big hole there. We found it there about 20 months ago. We could hardly see out of that hole. But we've struggled. I believe my #1 job is to create jobs as a United States Senator. That's why I've worked very, very hard to do just that. Taxes. We reduced taxes for 95% of Nevadans and all Americans. We did tax reform for small business. That's the driving engine of business in America. 75% of all jobs are small business. We reduced taxes for small business 8 times. Wall Street reform. They will never, ever be able to do to us again what they did to us before because we've changed the law. Mortgages, I understand. Homes are underwater. I have 3 boys that have homes here in Nevada. Actually 4. One's in the northern part of the state. I have a home in Nevada. I understand where house values have gone. That's why I worked hard to get $200 million into the state of Nevada to help homeowners. Renewable energy. We've got a lot of jobs here for renewable energy, and that's important. I'm glad we did. The economy. Everything we talk about tonight is related to the economy. Everything. That's Social Security, energy, the whole works. I want you to look at my Facebook, Twitter, to make sure that you check all the facts here, because we will fact check them.
Thank you, Senator Reid. Now, Mrs. Engel.
Good evening. Thank you, Nevada broadcasters and PBS, for sponsoring this event. Tonight, we're going to see a contrast between me, Sharon Engel, and Senator Harry Reid. The contrast will be what you will make your choice on when you're voting. The contrast begins. I'm not a career politician. I'm a mother and a grandmother. I was a teacher for 25 years. Senator Reid has been a politician for over 30 years. I live in a middle-class neighborhood in Reno, Nevada. Senator Reid lives in the Ritz-Carlton in Washington, D.C. I have a legislative record of voting over 100 times against tax and fee increases, poor public policy, and unconstitutional laws. Senator Reid has voted over 300 times to raise our taxes. He's voted for poor public policy like stimulus and bailout. And he's voted for unconstitutional bills like Obamacare. These aren't just policies. These are policies that have hurt Nevada. We have the highest rate of unemployment in the nation, the highest rate of foreclosure in the nation, the highest rate of bankruptcies in the nation. And these aren't just numbers. These are real people. When I call my grown children and I say, "How are you doing?" what I'm really asking is, are you still able to make that mortgage payment? And do you still have your job? Our founding fathers knew that the best government was a limited government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Tonight you will see the difference between Harry Reid and big government and Sharon Engel in limited constitutional government.
Thank you very much. The next series of questions will focus on immigration, and Senator Reid, you're up first. In the minds of many Nevadans, Senator Reid, your policies have allowed thousands of illegal immigrants to stream across the border because you have not made border security a priority. Why is it only this year that you've talked about securing the border when this problem has been going on for years, if not decades?
Immigration is a problem. We have a system in America that's broken and needs to be fixed. That's why in August of this year, I introduced legislation that was finally passed to do something about our borders. We now have on our border predators flying over 24 hours a day. We have 4,500 new Border Patrol agents. We have National Guard there. And we have fence that's being built. I'm frustrated like everyone else is frustrated. But I believe we have to look at the issue and do comprehensive immigration reform. We cannot ignore it. And that's the reason that we have to do something about the people that are here that are undocumented. Have them pay taxes, pay penalties, fines. And of course, by doing that, we will be able to not demagogue the issue, do something about it. We have to work together on the issue.
Thank you, Senator Reid. Mrs. Engel, your response.
What we have here is an illegal alien problem, and the solution is simple. Secure the borders, enforce the laws. I think every state should have a sheriff like Joe Arpaio, and we should be supporting Arizona instead of suing Arizona like Senator Reid and President Obama have. When they sued Arizona, they also allowed 11 foreign countries to join in that suit. Senator Reid, you've allowed 11 foreign countries to dictate our immigration law. That's just nuts. We need to get back to simple solutions to these problems. Once we've secured the borders, enforced the laws, then we can deal with those internal problems that we have left. But we have to stop incentivizing those folks that are coming here for jobs, for medical and for education free, and also for Social Security benefits. Those are for citizens, not for illegal aliens.
Senator Reid, you can respond for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mitch. The number one issue here is comprehensive immigration reform. We have to do something to solve the issue. We can't keep talking about it. That's why I worked very hard the last Congress to work with John McCain. That was his legislation, and it's basically the same legislation we're working on now to move forward on this issue. Stop talking about it and do something about it.
Okay. Our next question, Mrs. Engel, is again on immigration. In a television ad, you claimed Senator Reid, quote, voted to give special tax breaks to illegal aliens and to give illegals Social Security benefits. Most reputable fact checkers have said that's patently false, especially the line about Social Security benefits. The ad was even criticized by the chair of the Republican Hispanic Caucus. Would you like to denounce the ad as deceptive or give voters documented evidence about its accuracy?
Not at all. I'm glad to give voters the opportunity to see that Harry Reid has voted to give Social Security to illegal aliens. Not only did he vote to give it to them after they have become citizens, but even before they were citizens, he voted to give them the benefits of our Social Security. Our Social Security system is one that needs to be addressed, and we're not addressing it. In fact, what we need to do is make sure that we keep our promise to our senior citizens and make sure that our younger folks have the opportunity to have a personalized Social Security retirement account similar to the thrift plan that Senator Reid has. If it's good enough for Harry Reid, it should be good enough for the rest of us.
Okay, Senator Reid.
Mitch, my opponent didn't answer the question. Everything she has said in that ad is false. It's not true. I've never voted for tax breaks for people who are here that are illegal. I've never voted for Social Security benefits for people here. That is not the law in this country. She knows it, and she should stop saying it. That's why she moved over to Social Security and other issues that have nothing to do with the question that you asked.
Response.
Well, I think that the question has everything to do with Social Security and what's gone wrong in our system because we haven't secured the borders and enforced the laws. Senator Reid talks about comprehensive immigration law, but really what he's talking about is something that didn't work in 1986. I'm a great fan of Ronald Reagan's, but he had it wrong when he gave amnesty in 1986. We need to first secure the borders.
Okay, on this next question, I'm going to ask for a simple yes or no. in response to this question, and that's this. Mrs. Engel, you'll go first. Would you be in favor of a constitutional amendment establishing English as the official language of the United States?
Yes.
English is already the official language.
Okay. We'll move on to the next category, and this has to do with healthcare reform. But before we do, I'd like to remind everybody that YouTube has partnered with the Nevada Broadcasters Association in providing issues for the candidates. So far, there's been 50,000 hits on the YouTube website, and by far the biggest issue for YouTube users is our next one, which is health care. Senator Reid, you'll get this question. According to the Medicare's actuary, the health care reform bill will actually increase costs, including the addition of $100 million a year to Nevada's Medicaid budget. In light of the expensive mandates on small business and the intense voter backlash, why didn't you and President Obama focus on jobs and the foreclosure crisis first, knowing how Nevada has suffered more than any other state?
For a long time in this country, insurance companies have dominated the healthcare delivery system. You pay your premiums, you get sick or hurt, they walk away from you. We passed health insurance reform because we had no choice. I don't know where you got the question, but the facts are all wrong. We, according to the Congressional Budget Office, independent, have been told that we will reduce the debt by $1.3 trillion. We allow people who have children who have pre-existing disabilities like diabetes to no longer be denied insurance by those folks. It is something that we had to do, including extend the life of Medicare for 12 years, fill the donut hole. The facts that you gave, Mitch, are simply wrong. We had to do health insurance reform to maintain competitive in the world economy, and it creates jobs, thousands and thousands of jobs.
Okay, Senator Reid, I'm going to ask you that again. Why didn't you and President Obama focus on jobs and the foreclosure crisis first, knowing how Nevada has suffered more than any other state?
We did focus on foreclosure first. One of the first bills we passed in this Congress was mortgage fraud. We moved into that very quickly to prevent these people who are taking advantage of folks who are in trouble with their homes. And we've had indictments here in Nevada and all around the country as a result of doing that. And remember what I said earlier. Health insurance reform creates jobs. I was at Medco today. They're bringing on 500 new people because we now have 2,000 pharmacists there. And as a result of what the health care reform bill did, they're going to bring more people there.
Okay, Mrs. Engel.
Obamacare cut $500 billion out of Medicare right at the point where senior citizens need to have that Medicare Advantage. That's where their choices are. It also cost us $500 billion in new taxes. The solutions to the health care insurance cost problem are simple, and they reside within the free market. We need to get the government out so we can go across state lines to choose insurance companies. We need to get the government out of the process so that we can take off those mandated coverages. We need to get the government out so we can have tort reform and so we can expand the pools. The solutions to the health care cost of insurance are free market.
Okay. Senator Reid?
The facts are wrong. I read to the Medico people today, the fact that a letter from Secretary Sebelius, Medicare Advantage people in the state of Nevada are going to pay less rather than more. There will be more Medicare Advantage people on the rolls now as a result of health care being passed. My opponent doesn't like any insurance companies to have to do anything. She's against mammograms, colonoscopies, and as we've heard lately, insurance companies cover kids that have autism. That's really extreme.
Okay, we'll go to the next question. It's still on health care reform, and actually Senator Reid kind of paraphrased my question, but I'll rephrase it. You have said on various occasions, and in fact voted in the State Assembly, to do away with mandated coverage of mammograms and colon cancer tests. You've come out in favor of eliminating coverage for autism and maternity leave. Is there anything you think the insurance companies should be forced to cover?
America is a country of choices, not forcing people to buy things that they don't need. What we want is a basic policy where we can add the coverages that we need.